Dear students, today we will start Unit 4, that is Societal Impacts. Dear students, as you all know, we are now living an era called the information age, where we see that most of our activities are technology influenced. Be it making an online payment, creating or development of own piece of art or information such as writing articles or clicking photographs and so forth. With the reach of technology to our day-to-day life, there has been a paradigm shift, and it has also raised specific issues and problems related to society, law, and ethics. In this chapter, we shall talk about topics about this very domain, such as digital footprint, net and communication etiquettes, data protection, intellectual property rights, plagiarism, cybercrime, cyber law, Indian IT Act, and many more. Now, my dear students, let me first start the digital footprint. Now, what is digital footprint? It refers to one's unique set of traceable digital activities, actions, contributions, and communications manifested on the internet or on digital devices. On the World Wide Web, the internet footprint, also known as cyber shadow, electronic footprint, or digital shadow, is the information left behind as a result of a user's web browsing and stored as cookies. The term usually applies to an individual person but can also refer to a business, organization, and corporation. There are two types of digital footprint. They are passive digital footprints, active digital footprints. Now, passive digital footprints. These footprints can be stored in many ways depending on the situation. In an offline environment, a footprint may be stored in an online database as a hit. This footprint may track the user IP address when it was created and where they came from, with the footprint later being analyzed. In an offline environment, a footprint may be stored in files which can be accessed by administrators to view the actions performed on the machine without seeking who performed them. Active digital footprints can also be stored in many ways depending on the situation. In an online environment, a footprint can be stored by a user being logged into a site when making a post or change, with the registered name being connected to the edit. In an offline environment, a footprint may be stored in files. When the owner of the computer uses a keylogger, so logs can show the actions performed on the machine and who performed them. One feature of keylogger monitors the clipboard for any changes. This may be problematic as the user may copy passwords or take screenshots of sensitive information which is then logged. Students, you all are using internet for some purpose. There are some net and communication etiquettes which we should follow while using the internet. They are, first of all, net etiquettes. The first etiquette is be respectful. It means everyone has different feelings and opinions, and it is important to respect this online. You may wish to comment on something someone has shared, but always remember that behind every account is a real person. Second etiquette is be aware of how your comments might be read. Dear students, strong language, capital letters, and exclamation marks can be easily misinterpreted online. In the real world, we have the addition of body language, tone of voice, and facial expressions to help us understand what someone has said. We also have the opportunity to rephrase what we say if we are misunderstood in the offline world. But when you are online, these are missing. Think if you were to receive this comment, how would you have felt? Third etiquette is be careful with humor. It is always great to share jokes with others, and it is important to be yourself online and let your personality shine through. However, not everything is always clear online, and sometimes people might not realize you are joking. Reread what you have written and think, will everyone get the joke? Fourth etiquette is think about who can see what you have shared. Privacy settings are a simple way to restrict who can see what you are sharing. But even with them in place, nothing is ever truly private online. Make sure you keep as much of your personal information off the internet as possible and never share anything inappropriate or that may get you into trouble. Fifth etiquette is remember to check friend requests and group invitees before accepting them. Students, as you all know, the internet is a great place to share content and chat to friends. But remember to review any new requests before accepting them. Check if they are from someone you know or were expecting to receive a request from. If it is not from someone you know or recognize, then it is okay to decline the request. Next etiquette is take time to have a read of the rules of conduct oblique community standards. Dear students, most online forums, social networks, and gaming networks have their own code of conduct or guidelines for a user's online behavior. Every user has the right to have the same positive experience online. The services you are using use these guidelines to help guide and support you so that you know what will and won't be tolerated on their services. Before using a new account, take a moment to read the guidelines so you know the appropriate rules of posting, behavior, and what to do if you need to report something that you see on this service. Next etiquette is be forgiving. Dear students, the online world can be very different from the offline world. So try to be understanding of others when they struggle with online communication. If you see something online that you don't think is appropriate, you can use reporting tools to flag it to the site's safety team. Now, communication etiquettes. There are some communication etiquettes also. These are number one, do not use a speakerphone. Dear students, you know roughly 70% of employees found using a speakerphone in a shared or open office to be unacceptable. If it is a call you need to take hands-free, use a handset, or find a private room to avoid distracting your coworkers. Gossiping is not good team building. It means talk about the weather, sports, upcoming events, or send a sweet GIF. But whatever you do, don't fall into gossiping as a way to relate with coworkers. Don't use all caps. Using all caps indicates an aggressive tone or a lack of digital skills, neither of which will be appreciated by coworkers. The only time caps are acceptable in the workplace is when you are sending congratulations to celebrate an achievement. Reply carefully. More than 60% of employees consider it more workplace etiquette to hit reply all to emails. This rule requires some finesse. Do not reply all an email asking for your order for the lunch. Do reply all to a department-wide update to make sure everyone knows you are on the same page. Politics are not welcome. More than half of employees think it is inappropriate to discuss politics in the workplace. Even if you think your political interests are aligned with your coworkers, it is best to keep politics or off the clock. Silence your phone. You are using You are going to compulsively check your phone at least once every half hour anyway. Do you really need a ringtone or vibration for every notification? Your coworkers certainly do not think you do. Do not copy the whole team. Dear students, before sending an email, ask yourself who needs to see this. If it is not something that the entire organization needs to know, there is no reason why everyone should be copied. Be more selective when sending general correspondence to coworkers. Use styles appropriately. 40% of workers think the improper use of bolds or italics in work communications is unacceptable. This is somewhat similar to using all caps in the way that it should convey an unintended tone. Bold and italics also have a tendency to draw the attention of the eye. So, if a random word is bolded, it can be confusing and distract viewers from the messages itself. Now, students, all we are using computers, sending data from one computer to another computer using internet. Now I will explain how to protect data in an offline environment. First of all, I will explain data protection. Data protection is the process of safeguarding important information from corruption, compromise, or loss. Now, principles of data protection. The key principles of data protection are to safeguard and make available data under all circumstances. The term data protection is used to describe both the operational backup of data and business continuity, disaster recovery. Data protection strategies are evolving along two lines. These are data availability and data management. Data availability ensures users have the data they need to conduct business even if the data is damaged or lost. There are two key areas of data management used in data protection. They are data lifecycle management and information lifecycle management. Data lifecycle management is the process of automating the movement of critical data to online and offline storage. Information lifecycle management is a comprehensive strategy of valuing, cataloging, and protecting information assets from application and user errors, malware and virus attacks, machine failure, or facility outages and disruptions. Now, what is the purpose of data protection? Storage technologies that can be used to protect data include a disk or tape backup that copies designated information to a disk based storage array or a tape cartridge device so it can be safely stored. Mirroring can be used to create an exact replica of a website or files so they are available from more than one place. Storage snapshots can automatically generate a set of pointers to information stored on tape or disk, enabling faster data recovery while continuous data protection backup all the data in an enterprise whenever a change is made. Now, our next topic is intellectual property rights. First of all, let me introduce you with intellectual property. It refers to creation of the intellect, inventions, literary and artistic works, symbols, names, images, and designs used in commerce are part of it. Intellectual property rights is divided into two categories. They are industrial property and copyright. Industrial property includes inventions, trademarks, industrial designs, commercial names, designations, and geographic indications. Copyright includes literary and artistic works such as novels, poems and plays, musical works, artistic works such as drawings, paintings, photographs, and architectural designs. It is a legal concept enacted by most governments, giving the creator of original work excessively right to it, usually for a limited period. Now, our next topic is plagiarism. Now, let me introduce you what is plagiarism. Plagiarism is copying someone's work and then passing it off as one's own. It is morally bad because it is an act of stealing. In other words, it is copying information and not giving the author credit for it. It involves lying, cheating, theft, and dishonesty. Plagiarism is divided into two categories. They are deliberate oblique intentional plagiarism, unintentional oblique accidental plagiarism. Now, deliberate oblique intentional plagiarism includes copying someone else's work, cutting and pasting blocks of text or any kind of media from electronic sources without documenting and at the same time publishing it on the web without the permission of creators. Unintentional oblique accidental plagiarism involves careless paraphrasing, which means changing the words of a copy document, quoting text excessively along with poor documentation. Usually, accidental plagiarism cases are less serious in comparison to deliberate plagiarism that may result in serious implications. Now, how to avoid plagiarism? Dear students, there are certain points of which you have to take care. Number one, use your own words and ideas. Always provide reference or give credit to the sources from where you have received your information. If by any chance it becomes necessary to use someone's exact words, do not forget to put them in quotes. As far as possible, try to include the source in your works, citing page number. Cite the name of the website, a URL, or the name of authors and acknowledge them if you have used their work after arranging the order of a sentence and changing some of the words. Take information in the form of bulleted notes in your own words rather than copying the entire document. Use online tools to check for plagiarism. Now, our next topic is licensing. Now, first of all, let me explain software licensing. It is the legal right to run or the privilege given to you by any company to access their application or program. There are the advantages of licensed software. They are: by using licensed software, you are able to contribute to the further development of the program you are using. It also helps the economy generate not just computer related jobs but opportunities for other people whose work is much dependent on written technology. Apart from legal obligation to use licensed software, it comes with outright support not found in pirated softwares. Now, licensed software is classified into two categories. These are proprietary license and free and open source license. Proprietary license. Exclusive rights in the software are retained with the owner. They reserve all the rights and freedoms to use and distribute these software. Violation of the proprietary license amounts to copyright infringement. They restrict inspection, modification of source code, and further distribution. Free and open source software. Now, first of all, I will explain you free software. Free software means the software is freely accessible and can be freely used, changed, improved, copied, and distributed by all who wish to do so, and no payments are needed to be made for this software. Open source software refers to software whose source code is available to customers and it can be modified and redistributed without any limitation. It may come free of cost or with a payment of nominal charges that its developer may charge in the name of development support of software. Now, categories of open source software. Open source software is categorized into two categories. They are permissive license and copyleft license. Permissive license. These licenses provide a royalty-free license to do virtually anything with the source code. They permit using, copying, modifying, merging, publishing, distributing, sublicensing, and selling. But distribution can only be made without the source code, as source code modifications can lead to permissive license violation. Copyleft license. In case of this license, source code has to be provided. Also, distribution and modification of source code is permitted. Now, our next topic is cybercrime and cyber law. Cybercrime. It is defined as a crime in which a computer and internet is used in an illegitimate way to harm the user. Cybercriminals may use computer technology to access personal information, business trade secrets, or use the internet for malicious purposes. Cybercrimes can be against persons or against property or against the government. Students, the list of cybercrimes includes harassment by computer, illegal downloads, plagiarism, software piracy, copyright violation of software, counterfeit hardware, black market sales of hardware and software, theft of equipment, and new technologies. Fraud, credit card fraud, fraudulent use of ATM accounts, stock market transfers, telecommunication fraud, theft of money. Now, there are three cyber crimes which are in your syllabus. These are hacking, phishing, and cyberbullying. Hacking. The term hacking was used for people who engaged themselves in harmless technical experiments and fun learning activities. A computer user who uses his computer programming skills to intentionally access a computer without authorization is known as hacking. The computer user involved in this activity is known as a hacker. A hacker accesses the computer without the intention of destroying data or maliciously harming the computer. Another term commonly used for hacking is cracking. Cracking can be defined as a method by which a person who gains unauthorized access to a computer with the intention of causing damage. Phishing. Phishing is an attempt to acquire sensitive information such as usernames, passwords, and credit card details as a trustworthy entity in an electronic communication. The protective measures to be followed against phishing include: never open or download a file from unsolicited emails, even from someone you know. Keep your operating system updated. Use a reputable antivirus program. Confirm the authenticity of a website. Look for HTTPS in the address bar when you enter sensitive information on a website. Cyberbullying. Cyberbullying is bullying that takes place over digital devices like cell phones, computers, and tablets. Cyberbullying can occur through SMS, text and apps, or online in social media, forums, or gaming where people can wave, participate in, or share content. Cyberbullying includes sending, posting, or sharing negative, harmful, false, or mean content about someone else. It can include sharing personal or private information about someone else, causing embarrassment or humiliation. Some cyberbullying crosses the line into unlawful or criminal behavior. The most common places where cyberbullying occurs are social media such as Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter. SMS, also known as text message sent through devices. Instant message via devices, email provider services, apps, and social media messaging features. Email. Cyber law. Cyber law is an attempt to integrate the challenges presented by human activity on the internet with the legal system of laws applicable to the physical world. There was no statute in India for governing cyber laws involving privacy issues, jurisdiction issues, intellectual property rights issues, and a number of other legal questions. With the tendency of misusing of technology, there has arisen a need of strict laws to regulate the criminal activities in the cyber world and to protect the true sense of technology. Information Technology Act 2000 was enacted by Parliament of India to protect the field of e-commerce, e-governance, e-banking, as well as penalties and punishments in the field of cyber crimes. The above act was further classified in the form of IT Amendment Act 2008. Some of the cyber offenses under the IT Act are tampering with computer source documents, which comes under Section 65, hacking, it comes under Section 66, publishing of information which is obscene in electronic form, which comes under Section 67. Now, overview of Indian IT Act. The Indian IT Act 2000 is an act of the Indian Parliament number 21 of 2000, notified on 17th October 2000. It is the primary law in India dealing with cybercrime and electronic commerce. The original act contained 94 sections divided into 13 chapters and 4 schedules. The laws apply to the whole of India. The IT Act is a set of recent legal enactments currently existing in India, which provide legal support to computer users against cybercrime. The cyber police works as a detector to discover cybercrimes. They have the authority in respect of all the offences committed under TITA, Act number 21 of 2000, or crimes related to intellectual property rights. The cyber laws in India and the provisions for legal actions and punishments are Section 67A, offences publishing images containing sexual acts, and penalty is imprisonment up to 7 years and fine up to 10 lakhs. Section 67B, offence is publishing child porn or predating children online. Penalty is imprisonment up to 5 years and fine up to 10 lakhs on first conviction, and imprisonment up to 7 years and fine up to 10 lakhs on second conviction. Section 67C, offence is failure to maintain records. Penalty is imprisonment up to 3 years and fine up to 2 lakhs. Section 68, offence is failure / refusal of comply with others. Penalty is imprisonment up to 7 years and possible fine. 69 section, offence is failure / refusal to decrypt data. Penalty is imprisonment up to 3 years and fine up to rupees 1 lakh. Section 70, offence is securing access or attempting to secure access to a protected system, and penalty is imprisonment up to 10 years and a fine. Section 71, misrepresentation, and penalty is imprisonment up to 3 years and fine up to 1 lakh. Thank you.